Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's Tuesday. That means good old buddy Martin will be joining us. Second portion of the program, we'll have ESPN basketball analyst Mark Wise talking college hoops. But first, let's go straight down to Ocala, and we're joined by our good friend Buddy Martin of the Buddy Martin Show. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, Shane. I'm doing okay. Yourself? I'm ready to get this second shot now, and so I can get out amongst people and be a living human being. The last 10 months, I've been like a vegetable.
Yeah, you've been hibernating like a bear.
A mushroom. Yeah. Sure. Was looking forward to it. So.
Well, buddy, before we jump into what's going on in the sports world, Gator related, were you surprised at all? I know I wasn't. I've been preaching for quite some time. I really thought Jeremy Pruitt would be fired at Tennessee, and it happened yesterday.
I was a little bit surprised the way it happened. It was not so much of a firing as it was a beheading. I mean, it was pretty brutal to see the whole university, the chancellor, the president, Fulmer up there with the firing squad, and obviously Pruitt wasn't in the room, but it was nasty. It wasn't just a firing. It was it's ugly, and it's really disturbing. I don't care if you don't like Tennessee or not; they are in the SEC, and I don't know the allegations, but they got to be serious. Obviously, they're involving recruiting because they fired their whole staff, but this sounds beyond serious. And was I surprised? Maybe not. I wasn't shocked. I was a little bit surprised how they did it.
Yeah, I guess. What's funny is, gosh, he hasn't had much success in his 3 years there. And, if you're going to cheat, you would think you'd at least be winning. At least when Ole Miss got busted, they had a bunch of really good players that went on to the NFL in the recruiting. But, it's interesting that, the year Dan Mullen's hired, Tennessee hired a new coach, Florida State hired a new coach, and both those coaches are gone now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say that from this time. And let's not forget, Dan got in a little trouble this year himself. I don't know what's going on here with these recruiting and the show causes. But back to Tennessee, they haven't got it right for a long time. And it's starting to be a residual impact now on that program. And look, don't forget the guy won how many in a row? 6 in a row at one point, and then 2 to start off the next year. And there were people he got extension. Somebody liked what he was doing, Shane.
Well, I don't know what the hell they were looking at, because they have not been a good football team since I've been watching him as a coach. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they kept him around as long as they did. I don't even know how he got hired, honestly. I think he's more suited to be assistant coach.
I would agree.
Buddy, did you watch any of the NFL playoffs?
I watched them all. And this is when I shift into NFL mode, because obviously college football's over. And as you know, my background was I worked on an NFL show for 3 years, and I covered the Broncos for 7. So I liked the NFL. I enjoyed the weekend's games, and I realized what a quarterback-centric league it is, man. It's all about the QB, isn't it, Shane?
Oh, it's pretty much all about the QB, no matter what sport. I mean, what level you're talking about now. You cannot win if you don't have a solid guy behind center. And, I mean, good gracious, you look at the 4 teams that are left. You got pretty good players at the quarterback position.
Yeah, I'd say. And what a great performance by losing one, too. I just wanted to ask you, if I may, not to jump ahead. It's your show, not mine. I forget sometimes. I think I'm on my show. It's your show, but I wanted to ask you about Drew Brees. You played in the league when he was going strong. He was a kind of a under-the-radar guy. He didn't have, I don't have to tell you this, didn't have great arm strength. Smart, savvy, all-in guy, great teammate apparently, and he walks away. And it was a sad scene watching him walk off that field, by the way, which will more than likely be his last game because you saw him look back out of the tunnel like, let me have one more look at it. That he was really one of the best ever to play the game, and he did it with all heart. He wasn't a big guy. He didn't have the strong arm. I have the highest regard for him as a person, and I really love the way he played quarterback.
Oh, man, he's outstanding. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, first class, just handled himself very professional. You know, the thing about Drew Brees, it's all about being in the right situation a lot of times in the NFL. And he had some good years in San Diego, and then he had the arm injury. You know, there was a lot of talk. It's curious if Saban signs him with the Dolphins when Saban was the coach. They chose Dante Culpepper over him, I believe. Would Nick Saban still be coaching the Miami Dolphins if Drew Brees was his quarterback? Who knows? But, when Drew got hooked up with Sean Payton, because Sean Payton's one of the best play callers in the league, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Those two were a perfect match. Yeah. Payton runs that West Coast, got to be extremely accurate, get the ball out of your hands, and Drew ran it perfectly. But you could see this entire year the arm strength was lacking. It really showed against Tampa Bay. But, gosh, he's going to probably go into broadcasting. I think they already have a job for him on NBC for the night game. So he had a tremendous career. Just I love watching him play. You hate to see things come to an end, but it always does for all athletes. But he had a heck of a ride. There's no question.
He sure did. Brady didn't do too badly, and they got that pick. Their defense stepped up. Shane, and that pick that White made was they played some D, and that was really promising for Buck fans. And it gave Brady a chance to manage the game, getting a 10-point lead. You aren't going to get the ball back from him when he gets a 10-point lead that late in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Brady was okay. I don't think either quarterback was very good in that game. The Bucks got blown out. I talked about it yesterday. Had been blown out twice by the Saints because of turnovers. Mm-hmm. Well, the Bucks didn't turn it over at all. Right. Saints had 3 turnovers. You turn it over that much, you're going to lose. Yep. I personally don't think Tampa has a chance against Green Bay. I think because Aaron Rodgers is so elite right now.
Yeah, he is.
But you never know. If he turns it over a little bit, the Bucks may have a chance. But I want to see Packers, Chiefs in the Super Bowl with the 2 best players at that position playing one another.
Yeah, that would be good. I like that. The weather might be a factor in Green Bay, and although it's been pretty mild way it looks, for Tampa. If the game were played in Tampa, I'd give the Bucks a shot here, I think. Wouldn't you?
Well, the Bucks already beat the Packers once there down at Raymond James,
right? But that was but I mean, if the game was in Tampa versus Green Bay,
I'd give him a chance. But Aaron Rodgers is playing at a level that I've never seen a quarterback play. So, buddy,
wait, back up. What did you just say?
He's playing at a level I've never seen him play at.
Oh, I thought you said any quarterback. Okay.
Well, I mean, Mahomes last year or the previous year, I get them all screwed up, was phenomenal. But I think Aaron Rodgers thrown over 50-something passes, only 5 interceptions. It's crazy how he's playing right now. All right, your man Urban. No more best Fridays in football, buddy. I know you're very up. I'm sure Urban's very upset about that, right?
Well, he broke his contract. I got to have to get the lawyer after him.
Yeah.
I know. I mean,
does he have a buyout in that contract?
He does. He owes me, by the way, too. The thing about it is there will be best Fridays in football. It just won't be Urban. He might be occasionally, but it was quite an experience. I got to tell you, when I stopped and thought about it, I was privileged to have in-depth conversations with one of the best coaches of all time for 23 consecutive weeks. And that was really, really an education for me. And I think I know Urban pretty well, having written his book and having done that and having covered him. And I'm happy for him. I get why some people have so much angst. I don't know why there's such a polarization about Urban. And I'm not saying I know everything about him and that I'm right and people are wrong. But gosh, you can say Urban Meyer is like saying Democrat or Republican. right out the bat, somebody's going to come at you, one side or the other, and they'll tell you these things, reasons why, and I get it. I understand he's done some things that would lend himself to criticism, Shane. It will. I get it. There's no doubt about it. But some of the half truths and things that I hear see written, and know for a fact they aren't accurate, kind of riles me up. But I've given up my role as his arbitrator. I'm not going to try to defend him and whatever. Think what you want to think about him. He's got a great opportunity there. And I think Terry Bradshaw was right when he said last week, Urban Meyer will be successful in the NFL.
Yeah, I think it's going to take some time. I think as long as he drafts Trevor Lawrence, he better not screw that up.
Well, you don't think he could do it with the other guys? I mean, no,
absolutely not. Maybe
I think Fields could play in the NFL.
Well, everybody thought Dwayne Haskins could play in the NFL, buddy.
Yeah.
There's nothing against him. I think he's a tremendous college quarterback. I don't think he throws the ball well enough.
Okay, that's a valid point.
To win at that level where you want to win. Trevor Lawrence does. Zach Wilson does. I think Zach Wilson's going to be
Zach Wilson is going to be better than from right here. I only seen him a couple of times.
I've liked him since he was a freshman. I thought.
What do you like about him? Well, he's got a good arm and throws it accurate and gets the ball on time.
He is as close, and it's terrible that I'm making this comparison because it's not fair. He's as close to Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers as anyone as I've seen in a long time.
Well, that's a combination. There would be illegal.
Yeah, well, they're the same guy because they can move around.
Rodgers is not the same guy. I beg to differ you about that. There's no way Rodgers is as quick as Mahomes is.
Oh, have you seen him run?
No. I'm talking about his overall getting the ball out, whatever. He's really
yes, he is. He may have the quickest release in football.
All right, I want to see him throw off balance a few times like Mahomes.
He does every throw. Buddy, what game have you been watching?
No, I get it. He does it, but I've never seen a guy like Mahomes. I've never seen a guy like
Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers did it before Patrick Mahomes.
All right.
Mahomes is taking it to the next level.
We disagree on that. You think you know something about playing quarterback in the NFL, Jack?
I'm just telling you. Aaron Rodgers makes throws that – ask Coach Spurrier when you have him on your show.
I didn't say he didn't make great throws. I'm just saying that I think what I see out of Mahomes is like when Bobby Jones saw Jack Nicklaus the first time. He plays a game of which I'm not familiar. I've never seen a guy like Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers is great. He does a lot of great things. He's having a great year. But when you say he's a combination of the two, I'm thinking, wow.
Well, I personally think Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes have the same exact game, just one's younger and one's older.
Really?
I mean, if you watch Aaron Rodgers, his movement in the pocket, the different arm angles, the different throws he makes, it's ridiculous. He's been doing it for years. And then Patrick Mahomes comes on and does the same thing. So, anyway, enough on those two guys.
Let me say one more thing, but I can't let you off that easy, okay? I know you know a lot about the quarterback position. In my mind, I think Mahomes is a better runner than
well, he is, but he runs more. But Rodgers, if you go watch his games, he scrambles 2 or 3 times a game for 15, 20 yards.
I didn't say scrambles. I'm saying just running. He's a more effective runner, in my opinion. Anyway, all right. I want to get that.
Yeah, I think they're the same. I think they're the same. And if you saw Aaron Rodgers scramble for that touchdown the other night, where he pump faked and juked a couple of Rams players, I mean, he's a freak athlete for his age. Refresh your vehicle and your brand with the vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. January is your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Speaking with Buddy Martin here on the Titan MR hotline from the Crime Prevention Security System.
Hey, Shane, can I get back to one thing till I get a chance to finish my thought on Urban real quick? Yeah. Here's what I think will happen. I think he'll build a terrific organization. He's good at that. He'll get a world-class coaching staff. I'm not sure who all he'll get. And I think in my mind, I see you say, all right, what's his first 3 years going to be? Because he's going to turn 57 this year. That gives him 3 more years till he's 70. A little more, and so to 60, excuse me. And so I see him lasting at least till he's 60. And if you want to project the records, I see 5-11 the first year, I see 8-8 the second year, and I see 12-4 in the playoffs in the third year.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. The biggest issue for them to make a big jump, in my opinion, And I don't know. I know they got a bunch of money to spend. They got a bunch of draft picks.
100 million.
You gotta draft Trevor Lawrence. If you don't draft Trevor Lawrence, you might as well go jump off the Matthews Bridge.
All right.
And
I'm not saying that's not right.
Okay. So you draft Trevor Lawrence, and then I'm not worried about the rest of your draft. Do what you got to do, but you've got to spend money on some veteran players that want to come play in the AFC North. No, what are they? What is it? The AFC South, and live in Jacksonville, which is a great place to live, and you have no state taxes. They got to preach that. Preach it, preach it, preach it. Get some good veteran players, because the quarterback's going to struggle at times, but he's a guy that can, as you mentioned, in year 3, go 11-5.
Yeah. And by the way, I've heard from my people in Jacksonville. I know you do a show with Norvell. I'm talking about Frangie and a few other guys I've talked to, that this is not, that they're so excited. They expect to do some sellouts, that they're going to that there's more excitement now. Anytime since the franchise started, they're on fire. And the whole problem with the apathy is over for the Jacksonville Jaguars, at least for a couple of years. It's really going to be exciting. So from that standpoint, I think it's great. It's great for the league. It's great for Jacksonville. Jacksonville is long suffering. And right now, at least, it's a promising future. And Urban likes to use the phrase hope and opportunity. In fact, that'll probably be the title of the book he's working on now, Hope and Opportunity. I think he brought hope and opportunity to Jacksonville. I wish him the best. I like him, and I think he'll do well in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it get going. No question. Coach Mullen,
yeah.
They still have a spot open to hire. There was word about Charlie Strong coming. Apparently, Charlie Strong's going to coach pro ball. We really don't know yet.
We don't know. Why can't we get that right? We can't understand, but nobody seems to know that answer.
Yeah, Christian Robinson went to Michigan, came back, went back to Michigan. Now he's back on the Gator staff. What are you hearing there, buddy?
I'm asking you. I'm so confused. I don't know. I thought he was good. Somebody posted he was going to go to Michigan State, first of all, which is wrong. And Michigan, I thought he was gone, and I found he's not gone. And I'm told, I don't know this stuff. You're more inside than I am. He's the lowest paid guy on the staff. He has to suffer through with $290,000 a year.
Yeah. So here's the thing, buddy. I don't know. I only know a few. I only basically know the coaches on offense, and I've met Ty Grantham a couple of times.
Okay.
But, I know fans get so upset when a coach goes from the Florida Gators to Michigan or the Florida Gators to wherever.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, because it's a better opportunity for him, or buddy, it's a way Dan Mullen saying, you know what, you may need to look for another job.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We don't know. We don't know, because we're not in Dan Mullen's office. We're not in his head saying, okay, this guy's been on my staff, but I've got to replace him with someone else. What's the best way of doing it? I don't know if this is happening. I'm just saying, Gator fans, well, why is it Mullen just, let a coach go to Michigan?
Yeah.
Well, he may be getting paid a lot more money at the other institution that we don't want to pay him that money. So, so much goes into it. And it's the same way when kids transfer.
Yeah.
What do you hear when 4 or 5 kids go in the transfer portal? What's going on? What's wrong with the culture?
Didn't want to compete.
What's going on there? Well, okay, we don't know that when Coach Mullen had an exit meeting with every player on the team, Coach Mullen could have said, Buddy Martin, you're our middle linebacker. Yeah, you have a chance to play here, but you are a backup this year. We have so-and-so and so-and-so from this signing class coming in that we think are pretty good players. We also may get this guy to transfer portal to help our program. So if you want to hang around and compete, you have an opportunity to play. But if you want to go in the transfer portal, we will help you. Okay. So that's kind of how the conversations usually go. And now a kid goes in the transfer portal. It's what's going on there? Why is he transferring? You see what I'm saying, buddy?
Listen, I'm so glad you have to deal with fans now. I've been dealing with them for 40 years. You as a player, you were a hero. You didn't have to deal with them. Now you got to deal with them.
Trust me, buddy. I've been booed extremely loud
but you didn't have
multiple times.
Well, hey, I know. I didn't say that. But you have to deal with them every day now on a different level. You weren't getting text messages and emails from them back then.
No.
But it's, God love them. Look, I mean, we need the fans. We all need the fans. They've had a rough year too, by the way, just so you know, not getting their football. And they want to win. Unfortunately, you want a fan base that wants to win, that cares about your team. That's a double-edged sword, as you know. You know, they're invested. They feel like they're entitled. They have opinions. They base it a lot of sometimes on unfactual information. Not that I have all the factual. I don't know either. But the problem is that they say things that are absolutely insane sometimes. And you think, what is that guy thinking? That's not, as you say, they don't know anymore. They don't know anything. Somebody said this on the internet. Big deal. So there's a lot of that going on in terms of the media today. But don't get me started on that. I had a conversation about that with Urban about a month ago. About there's the media, and then there's the guys, like I told you, there's the guys who have 100 followers on Twitter who sound like they're big dogs. Pat Dooley and a guy with 100 followers on Twitter are not the same guy.
Right. We got a Facebook Live here brought to you by Metal Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Natasha says, I missed the first few minutes of the show. Mm-hmm. Did anyone see Fulmer's resignation coming, and who replaces him? Well, I've been saying for months that I thought Jeremy Pruitt was getting fired.
Yeah,
I had no insider information, just from a production standpoint. And then when all the recruiting stuff came along, I was like, there's no way they can keep him. Mm-hmm. And I think Fulmer resigned, or I don't know what he actually happened.
He actually resigned. I'm sure it was an arranged deal.
Yes, it was basically he is a volunteer for life. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to fire him. Mm-hmm. So basically, the chancellor or whoever said, you know what, it's time for you to resign and move on out. And that's basically what I don't know who's going to take over there as the AD.
Well, nobody does. But here's the deal. They made it convenient for him because they didn't want to embarrass him and embarrass the university. So they said, well, we think it's better for the AD to hire their own coach. And I'm not going to be the coach here in 10 years when I'm 80. So let the new guy hire the coach. That's how they got out of the deal. But Fulmer is complicit. He can't walk out of this thing. It's his guy. He hired a guy who cheated, and they got caught. You're going to tell me that, it wasn't his responsibility, his fault? Yeah, it was too. So I know they don't want to put any fingerprints on it from him, but I think Fulmer is complicit, and there will be. I don't know who the coach will be. We tried to guess last night. Let me throw you a couple of names. All right, these are all just as a crappy list. I'm going to tell you. Okay, so obviously Steele is there, so he'd be the first name. Jamie Chadwell. Will Muschamp, Gus Malzahn, Hugh Freeze. Let's see, the guy from USF, Bill Clark, UAB, Billy Napier, etc. And so that's the list you're going to get because listen, I mean, Vince Lombardi ain't walking out there and on that field and ain't showing up. So who are they going to get? There's nobody.
Let me throw a name at you, buddy.
All right.
Well, first of all, I know Jamie Caldwell would definitely be interested. He grew up a Tennessee fan.
Oh, he did? Really?
That's what I heard. I heard Hugh Freeze really likes this job. Now, it's one of those deals. Hugh's been cleared by the SEC from all his issues, but does Tennessee go that route?
No way. They can't do it.
Here's who I think they're going to hire.
All right, go ahead.
And I'm throwing it out there. Dave Clawson from Wake Forest. I want to say he was an assistant at one time at Tennessee, but he's had pretty good stability at Wake Forest. They've been very good offensively. So that's my dark horse.
Okay.
Is Dave Clawson.
Well, apparently Peyton's going to have a say in it.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Well, I think Peyton had a say with Jeremy Pruitt too, I thought.
Well, he must have. But they even mentioned that Peyton will be consulted, but I don't know. It's a tough one. It's hard. That program is going to be down for a long time to come now. I don't see anybody going there and turning it around. Anybody.
I don't either, but I don't know why they still get kids wanting to transfer there. They've had a couple in the transfer portal go to Tennessee. But before we run out of time here, speaking of Tennessee, the Vols roll into the Exact Tech Arena O'Connell Center tonight. Yep. And good gracious, they are very good. I am concerned about this game tonight.
Could be ugly. Tennessee is just a matchup nightmare. They're really good. Florida's playing hard, but they just don't have the firepower. Scottie Lewis is a must. He's not going to play, obviously. It's going to be, and here we're going to hear it. We're going to get ready, get the earplugs ready, fire Mike White. I can hear it right now. It's going to hear it. That's what it's going to be for the next couple of weeks. White said right now he's on a playoff team. He said he hoped that would change. Well, you only need about 6-7 weeks, good weeks to get yourself righted. And if you can get a little bit past the COVID and get Scottie Lewis back, at least he's got a chance to get to make a run. But the record's not terrible, by the way, just if you look at it. But losing that game to Mississippi State was brutal.
Well, Mississippi State's they're a mismatch for us too. They're a good team. They're the one team in the SEC that's on the bubble right now to get in the tournament. There's only 4 SEC teams I think that are going to make the tournament right now. LSU, Tennessee, Alabama, and Missouri. Those are the 4 that are going to make it right now if the tournament ended. It started today. So we got some work to do. But, when you lose the preseason player of the year in Keontae Johnson, that's going to decimate your basketball team. Mm-hmm. And then you got Scottie Lewis, who's the most athletic and supposed to be our best player as well. He hasn't played. We just got abused on the boards last week against State, and I think that you're going to see a repeat of that tonight, honestly.
And by the way, that's with Castleton playing out of his mind. He's been really playing great. So you'd like to see the pieces get back together, but hold on, it's going to be a rough go. And tonight on the show, head ball coach.
Oh,
asking him about that rest is shaping up nice. I know he wants to talk about Red Wilson, who hired him. I know he wants to talk about the NFL and about Urban. So we'll talk about that tonight, and you'll be on from some remote spot. I don't know. You call in from the Bahamas or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be. Who knows? I'll just flip a coin and figure out where I'll be. We got another Facebook Live brought to you by Metal Law here from Kyle. He says, "How about Todd Grantham to Tennessee?"
Well, I heard that rumor. That ain't gonna happen.
No. I really think it's going to be.
You got Kevin Steele. Why would you hire Todd Grantham?
Yeah, and I think Kevin Steele, regardless, whoever, if they decide to go get a new head coach, Kevin Steele will be the defensive coordinator for that coach.
No, it has to be.
Has to be. Yeah. So I'm going to go with these 3 names, buddy.
Okay.
Right now on what is today, the 19th?
Yep.
I'm going in no particular order: Hugh Freeze, Jamie Caldwell, and Dave Clawson.
Okay. Well, I like Clawson. The other 2 ain't happening.
Why do you say that?
Because I like Jamie Chadwell. I think he's a promising coach. I think it's too much ego at Tennessee. We can't go get a guy from Coastal Carolina to be the coach, and there's no way Hugh Freeze can be hired. He cannot be hired there. The president and the chancellor would resign. You cannot hire.
But he's been cleared by the league office.
It doesn't matter. They're coming off an NCAA probation where they fired the coach. They're going to bring a guy in who was in trouble 3 years ago. It ain't happening. Can't do it.
Yeah, you're probably right. So that's why Dave Clawson, I think he's going to get the job.
I like that. I have to look him up a little bit. I've heard good things about him. You may have a winner there.
I want to say I'm pretty sure he was an assistant offensive coordinator about 10 years ago there, and he's done a phenomenal job at Wake Forest.
Yes, and by the way, don't you think he has to be a Tennessee guy? He's got to have a Tennessee background somewhere.
He does?
Somebody,
They got that guy, Kevin Steele.
I know. I'm saying that's why I say you have to have a Tennessee background. At least you got to know a Tennessee football. Just like that was Urban's biggest sin. He had no Florida connection when he came here, and people didn't like him nearly as much.
Here's the thing. I don't quite understand that whole concept, because think about it. Nick Saban had 0 ties to the SEC or Alabama or LSU when he was hired. What the hell does it matter?
Well, I mean, you got to break through somewhere. I mean, but I'm not saying everybody you hire has to be from the SEC. But Saban had proven himself, and a proven coach that grew on a Power 5 team is different than some guy coaching at Coastal Carolina. You know, that's if he's got a background at Tennessee, it helps him. I'm not saying that's the only thing. It helps to have that Tennessee association. At least have the blessings of Peyton Manning. So.
All right, buddy. We got to run. We got to start talking some hoops with our man, Mark Wise. We're going to take our first time out of the program.
I like Mark Wise.
Watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Shane.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport. Keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center. Center State Bank. Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Ribs, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Miapa Latin Cafe, Rap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Dar Shakow Insurance. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click the advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate. Premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Nike, Sensei, Prime and Pearl, and opening soon, Dave & Buster's, and coming spring of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visors Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. Now we're going to go to the Titan Moore Hotline. We're joined by ESPN basketball analyst, I guess he's a former Gator radio analyst, Mark Wise. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, Shane. Happy New Year to you.
There he is. So let me get this straight for all our loyal listeners out there. Are you no longer doing mixed sidekick? You're just doing all ESPN stuff, correct?
That is correct, because I've been fortunate enough where the TV people have decided to use me basically full time. So there just ended up being too many conflicts. And so it just made it much easier for me to kind of step aside. And the odd part about that is, in this COVID environment, Florida's games were rescheduled. And the very first game of the year was during the day, in a time frame where Lee Humphrey couldn't do it. So I actually went full circle. I was the substitute guy on the very first game against Army, and that's just the way it's kind of gone this year.
Yeah, well, you do a tremendous job on TV, as I told you. Let me ask you this, though, because I want to say, have you done all your broadcasts so far this year from your home?
I have done 14 games so far, 7 on site, 7 in what they're calling home kits. And the schedule is out through mid February. I do not have an on-site game in site. So everything that I'm now doing right now are home kit. I would say from the master schedule, I would say about 90% of the games are home kit games now.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're going to talk a lot of college basketball here. And first, let's start with the Gators. Gators are struggling right now, obviously, with Keontae Johnson out. Last couple of games, Scottie Lewis out. I don't think he's playing tonight against Tennessee. Just from a physicality standpoint, you've lost 2 really athletic players. I tell everybody, when you lose Keontae Johnson, it's like losing your starting quarterback, the best player on your team. What can the Gators do tonight to be competitive against a very, very good Tennessee team?
They better shoot lights out. That's the only, and they're going to try to shoot lights out against the best defensive team in the league. Tennessee's long, athletic, quick, really don't allow offensively. I've said it this way. I mean, Keontae Johnson averages 17 points a game, and Scottie Lewis averages 11 points. So that's 28 points of the game they don't have. And they're not going to get Keontae Johnson anytime soon, I don't think. So they're going to have to find different ways to score, and that's going to be a challenge for this team. I think DeRougie has done a very good job in place of Johnson. And since his absence, I know the other day he didn't play very well. It's the first time he kind of got in foul trouble and never got into the flow against Mississippi State. When he goes and Florida goes small because really they don't have any other option, then the challenge becomes, can they rebound enough? And that's where they got crushed in the Mississippi State game. They had a trouble with Kentucky. Any team that has what I'm calling legit forward, Florida's going to.
Yeah, I think we lost Mark there with his audio. We're speaking with Mark Wise here on the Titan MR Hotline. You can follow him at Twitter on MW Hoops. You there, Mark?
I am here.
Okay, we lost you there. We lost you there for a second. Speaking of the SEC, because that's basically what you're covering, and correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm part of the committee today, and if the tournament started this week, I think only 4 SEC teams make the tournament. I got Tennessee, LSU, Alabama, and Missouri. Do you think those 4 are correct, or am I wrong?
No, I think those 4 are correct. I think the question mark now for the next team would be Arkansas, because their net is okay, but they need wins. And oddly enough, that's who I have tomorrow night. I have Auburn at Arkansas. So the over and under in that game is going to be about 732 points. So they're going to get up and down the floor. Arkansas, next best team in this league in terms of resume. Mississippi State's got a lot of work to do. Florida's got a lot of work to do. Those 4 that you mentioned, though, are solid. And what's odd about 3 of those 4 are really, really offensively driven. I mean, if you're going to, and I've said this, I think this is the most offensively driven conference that I've seen this league in quite some time. What Nate Oates has done at Alabama and turning that team from a team that's going to play in the 80s and 90s every day, the way Eric Musselman likes to play up and down. So again, if you're going to beat anybody in that group, you're in the 80s, or else you're not going to win.
Speaking of Nate Oates, I saw a thing the other night, and I don't know if you were doing the game, but they did a little piece on him because he had this little chart.
Right.
And it had all the NBA logos and the college logos and all this stuff. And the Alabama logo was way up here. And it's all about pace of play and shooting the threes.
Right.
He's an analytics guy, right? And he just believes the more threes you shoot, the better opportunity to win, correct?
He does, with this understanding that you have to have a roster that has 3 or 4 guys, at least 3 or 4 guys, who can beat you off the. In other words, spacing only works if you can drive and dish. If you can't drive, if you can't make a defender come over and help, then you're just, all you're doing is spacing. So they built the roster that way. They are really good at picking on your weakest defense. And then the other thing that I've been really impressed with them, and I have them Saturday at home against Mississippi State, they have become really unselfish. And in years past, I always felt like the ball stuck a lot in the Alabama offense. That is not the case now. They understand that there is more wealth to be found by sharing the basketball, and they've done a marvelous job of doing that.
Back to the Gators, we got a Facebook Live question here brought to you by Melvin Law. John wants to know, with the way we're getting owned on the boards, why isn't Jatobo getting more minutes?
Because then you become worse offensively. And so all you're doing is plugging the leak. You're putting your thumb on one hole and another. Castleton out of the lineup, and I think he's probably been Florida's most pleasant surprise in terms of what he has given them night in and night out. An athletic big who can score around the rim, who runs the floor well, who's blocking shots. I mean, he's given them dynamite minutes. So I'm not going to take him off the floor. So if you're going to play the two bigs together, now you've got even more offensive challenges.
When you look at the SEC, Mark, they got some good little freshmen that have come in, and I can't remember their names. One, Auburn, I think his name is Sharif. He's a point guard. And then number 24 for LSU. He's one of the best scorers I think I've ever seen in this league.
Yeah, let's start with LSU. 24 is Cam Thomas. Yes. He's a bucket getter. I've had them 3 times already. One of the things is me about him, I'm a believer in step back threes. The guys in college step back threes, but Cam Thomas, because he's so physical as a freshman, has great lower body strength. He can make the step back three. He thinks like a scorer. He wants to be a scorer. Everybody around him allows him to be a scorer. That you're talking about is Sharif Cooper for Auburn, and he is the piece for Auburn that makes all the other pieces fit. He is an elite, electric passer. Since he's been in the lineup, he's been there 3 games. He's at 21 points a game. Now, he's not shooting the 3 ball at all, but he's got lightning quickness with the ball. He's got what I call dribble speed. He is as creative a passer in college basketball right now. I say that because a lot of guys can throw the lob pass. If they catch it, they're looking, they see the guy, they throw it to the rim. He can do it off the dribble, but not only with his dominant hand, but with his left. See that tomorrow night because we're going to highlight that as we feature him in the opening. And I will tell you this, Arkansas has a freshman, Moses Moody, who's in everybody's lottery, somewhere around the 10th pick in most mock drafts. Fun guy, kind of the complete package at the 2 guard, can score at all 3 levels, gets himself to the free throw line. One of the reasons why Arkansas got off to that hot start, even though their competition wasn't that great, they started non-conference play 7-0 and struggled here, but they went on the road and got waxed twice at LSU and at Alabama. Well, guess what, Shane? A lot of people are going to get waxed in that 2-game swing. No
doubt. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today, 352-244-0840. We're speaking with Mark Wise, ESPN basketball analyst here on the Titan Moore Hotline. You can follow Mark on Twitter at MWHoops. All right, Mark, let's go in the national perspective. Like I said, I watch a lot of college basketball, I guess because I'm old and bored at night. I have never seen a team.
You're a hoop junkie.
I'm a hoop junkie. Yeah, I've never seen a team as talented as the Gonzaga Bulldogs. I think it's the best assembled college basketball team I've ever seen. I could be crazy. What do you think about Gonzaga?
Well, they're fabulous. I mean, they catch you in so many different ways offensively, starting with the freshman point guard Jalen Suggs. They're so good that Andrew Nembhard comes off the bench and gives them a lift as a shooting guard. And then you talk about Kispert being one of the best 3-point shooters in the country, what Timmy gives them in terms of a big guy. They're so well-rounded. They are relentless on the offensive end. It's another one of those teams that, here's where I put them right now. I think it's Gonzaga, and then there's a gap, and then there's Baylor. And if you watch Baylor last night, everybody wants to talk about how connected their team is on defense. I think we overuse that a lot. But if you watch Baylor defend, they are truly connected. They make every possession like it's their last possession they'll ever play in their life on the defensive end. And then they scored 77 points last night. So I put Gonzaga on top, a little gap, Baylor, a gap, and then I've got maybe Iowa, Michigan, Tennessee, maybe if Tennessee starts scoring a bit better. Maybe a few other teams. And then there's a big gap, and then there's about 40 teams.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you about Florida State. I don't know what in basketball
they're
terms.
in that group of 40.
Yeah, I don't know what in terms of the Monday morning quarterback is in relation to a basketball guy. But I've always been that guy that thought Leonard Hamilton wasn't a great coach. Well, I've changed my tune the last couple of years because I watched them last night. They used to just play really good defense and low score. Now they got some dudes that can score. They look like a team that could really make some noise to me in the tournament.
Well, they've upped their recruiting, and I say that with what you just said in mind. You do not get picked in the first round of the NBA draft unless you can score, period. And the guys that they're sending to the pros in the last 2 or 3 years, and they've got another one in Scottie Barnes this year, even though he hasn't played the last couple of games. If you've got that kind of talent with the rest of the roster that they have accumulated year in and year out, they know who they are. They know what they want in recruiting. They're looking for long and athletic. They want enough offense that they can beat anybody on a night. But their DNA is the ability to switch 1 through 5 on the defensive end and make it really difficult for you to score. They care about mismatches because they're going to utilize their length to make you score over them. It's a really difficult team to score on, and that's kind of where they have hung their hat in the last 4 or 5 years, and they've been marvelous at doing it. When it's all said and done, they're going to be a tough out. There's no question about it.
Okay, so right now in the top 25, there is no Duke, there is no North Carolina, and there's no your beloved your beloved Kentucky Wildcats. What is it, like the first time since like 1961 those 3 teams haven't been ranked?
Yeah, it's strange days in this strange COVID season, isn't it? Carolina had a kind of a rebuilding process last year and rebuilding, and then you lose your best player to the NBA draft. It just kind of, I think, sets you back another year unless you're bringing in elite talent. Duke is a question mark for me right now that because of COVID, they've had some interruptions. The question, the one that I'm more familiar with is the Kentucky and what's going on there. Here's what I would say. Number one is BJ Boston has not adjusted to college. I like what Jimmy Dykes said in the broadcast the other night. He's got some bad habits that he needs to get rid of. Then you combine that with, I don't think they have a true point guard. And Shane, as you well know, anytime you don't have a true back, a true point guard, it really disrupts you as an event. Lastly, they have not made shots, and Allen has off the bench for them. The local player from Kentucky has given them a lift. Mintz is very hot and cold in terms of his shooting. So when you're just athletic and you can't score, it means your window of success is very small, and that's what Kentucky has done. I mean, they play games in the low 60s. And if you're going to play every game in the low 60s, then you're going to struggle.
Yeah, I agree. I think you and I both agree on one thing. You've got to score and make shots to win games these days. A couple more minutes here with Mark Wise. Mark, I think I've asked you this before, and I can't remember your answer, but I've never understood watching NFL playoff games. People get upset with some of the rules. Do the rules need to be changed? In college, just in basketball in general, and I played it, but I still don't know the answer to this. When you're in the bonus and I come driving down the lane and your team's in the bonus and you take a charge, Mark Wise takes a charge, why are you not allowed to go down and shoot free throws? Makes no sense to me.
Well, I mean, come on. You want everything to be free throws? I think the reason for that is basically pace of play, speed up. They don't want 40 free throws by each team in every game. My pet peeve is we have too many charges in our game anyway. I would like to see the officials change their paradigm in terms of calling the block charge. Unless you are absolutely certain that defender is set and in a legal guarding, any 50-50 decision has to benefit the offensive player. Call more blocks and a lot less charges. In terms of the free throws, I think it basically goes to the pace of play.
Well, it just, because here you are, your team's in the bonus, you box me out, I come over your back.
Right.
it's a foul on me. You're going to walk to the other end and shoot free throws. Well, I take a charge and my team's in the bonus. I should shoot free throws. So anyway, I think that's a dumb rule. It needs to be changed.
You know what you're telling me? You know what you're telling me? You're telling me you watch a lot of hoops, and that's a good thing.
I'm a hoop junkie, I guess. We got a text here on the Titan MR text line. It comes from Joe. Joe wants to know, hey, Mark, what determines during this COVID era what arenas you go do games at and which games you stay at home and do?
That's a really good question. Here, I'll give everybody a little view. This is the home office. What it's like. There are a couple of factors. Even if we're on site, we're not courtside, and that's kind of a problem. Especially if Ole Miss brought out a couple of weeks ago these powder blue uniforms, and everybody loved them, except they had red numerals. And on my monitor behind me, I mean, it would be like you watching it at home. It's just hard to see the numbers. Some of the when I get production world, but most school room, and that control room is where the majority of SEC games are produced out of, but some are not. Some are what's called a packager game, where they basically hire somebody to come in and produce the game, and some of those are on site. So it all has to do with what's available. But right now, ESPN has made the decision, because they have shipped, much like to myself, a lot of investment, a lot of resources into doing these home kid games. They want the majority. They do not want us traveling very much right now.
Yeah, gotcha. Last thing for you, you do a podcast every Monday, I believe, but it's going to start today with Steve Russell at WRUF called Hoop. There it is. It's every Monday, starting next week, correct?
Yeah, we moved to today because of the holiday yesterday, but it's going to be on every Monday at 11. It's what we did last year. We'll talk but we'll talk around the country, and we'll take questions and have all kinds of weekly awards. So looking forward to it.
Good stuff, Mark. Appreciate you taking the time to join the program. Be safe, and we really enjoy listening to you on ESPN.
Thanks very much, Shane.
All right, we're going to take our final time out of the program. When we come back, we'll wrap up this Tuesday edition.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Aver and Smith Personal Injury Attorneys, Orange Theory Fitness, and Dowling Signs. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click the Advertise button, or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. This month, get a free annual maintenance plan with every residential duct cleaning purchase, $199 value. The service department's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for your convenience. In 2002, on this day in sports, the Tuck Rule game, the AFC divisional playoff game with under 2 minutes to play, New England trailed Oakland 13-10 in a driving snowstorm when Tom Brady fumbles and it's ruled an incomplete pass. The Patriots win the game 16-13 in overtime. That changed the rules of the NFL. I want to thank our man Buddy Martin for joining us from the Buddy Martin Show, and also Mark Wise, talking hoops, ESPN analyst. Folks, make sure you follow us and like us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any platform out there. Tell your friends about us. We'd appreciate it. Today's show is a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Take care. We will see you tomorrow.